All right, so in this video, we're going to learn how to create slider bars in our project. And so I'm going to kind of show you what to do and what we're ultimately going to get to, and then we'll kind of build it as we go through it. So basically, we have our frame, we have these two slider bars, and one of the things you'll notice is as I go up, this value over here starts to increase, and as I go down, it decreases. I also have it set to where I can't go past a certain value because it'll keep resetting it. So that's kind of nice. And then I have this one over here does the same thing, but it has a different min and max value. So we're going to look at how to set all this, not only with preferences, but also with code. So let's go ahead and create a new class and get started. So we're going to create a new class. It's going to be a JFrame. You can have these cheer panels, of course, but we're just going to do a general JFrame right now. We'll call it example. All right, hit finish. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this as my default size. I'm not going to worry about that too much. So one of the things is where the sliders are located. So if you come over here to where it says string controls, you notice it has a slider right there. So we're going to drag that over here and we're just going to put it on. Now you can increase the size of this. Oh, I'm going to change this to absolute. All right, so you can increase the size of this slider if you want. It doesn't really matter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this to just HOR slider, and close that down, and then I'm going to put a label next to it, and this is the label that is going to hold the value. So we're going to change its properties and call it value1. Keep it simple. All right, so now, so this is a horizontal slider. So you can make a vertical slider. There's not a different one. You just bring it in here. But whenever you click on the properties, notice how it says orientation horizontal. You just kind of change that to vertical. Oh, and there we go. All right, and then we're going to call this vert slider. All right, and close. All right, and we're going to kind of bring that just kind of up there, and then we're going to put another label over here off to the side, and that is, whoops, I don't want to change the text, and that we'll call value 2. So this way we have all that. So honestly, there's not too much more you're going to do on this as far as these guys go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to modify them all through code. So here's the thing. Is that if you want the sliders to start out at a certain value whenever you first start the thing, you're going to want to do that in the constructor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have both sliders start out with a value of 100, and they're going to go and send that into the labels so that they represent that value. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to call it so the HOR slider, and then you do the set value, and it is an integer, so we're going to do it to 100. And then we're going to go and set the label to that value. So let's see here, value 1 dot set. Let's see, no. Set text. Now, since it is text, the whenever you get the value from the slider, one of the things you'll notice is it returns an integer. So you're going to need to concatenate it onto an empty string in order to set its text. So now we're just going to, I'm going to cheat here just a little bit and just kind of do this. And then this is going to be value 2. And this is going to be that. So now whenever we run the class, one of the things you'll notice is it has the two sliders here, and it sets them to 100. Notice also that whenever you look at the design right here, it shows that they start out halfway, but whoops. But our keep doing that. But ours start out all the way at the top because we reset their value to 100. Now, you'll notice right now I can move it up and down, but it doesn't change the value over here. So one of the things is you're not going to double click on this because you don't want to make it every time they click it, they do something. You want to do it whenever it changes state. So if you right click on it and you click on events, you'll notice the second one is changed and it says state changed. So if you click on that, it'll create your method here for you for whenever it changes its state. And remember that we've always talked about how private instance variables are at state. So its value is its state. So once the state gets changed, you want to change the label. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that our, oh no, I lost my, hold on. For some reason, my variable name got undone. For some reason, not sure why, but okay. No, it's still there. No, they're still both there. Oh, okay, that's weird. All right, so for some reason I was, nope, that's the wrong class. That's why. Yeah, design. Okay. I think I accidentally hit Control Z too many times. All right, so value. Okay, sorry about that. All right, back to the everything that needs to get done. Okay, so okay, that's all still in there. Okay, so now that we have this done in here, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set our text. Value. Let's see here. This is the vertical slider, so this is value 2. Dot set text to, and again, remember we have to do that to the vertical slider dot get get value. All right. So this way, every time the state changes, it's going to change that value right there. So whenever we run this, now whenever we go up and down, you'll notice that it'll change that value. And remember, guys, that anytime it returns a value, you can do something with that. So you can send that somewhere, or I don't know, change the state of an object with it. Hint, hint. All right. So anyways, all right. So we got that. So now we're going to do the same thing with our other one here. So where it does the same thing. All right. So design. We're going to right click, events, change, state change. And I'm just going to copy this, C, and then I'll change my variable names. Once I get in here, it's not liking me for some reason. It wasn't cooperating. Okay, so I'm just going to change my variable names in here. All right. So now that we did that, both of them should be working correctly now, and it should be changing the labels. Yay! All right, so two other things I want to go over. Let's say that you wanted to change it to where this slider cannot go below the value 50. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add an if statement in here that just basically says that if the vert slider dot get value is less than 50, and that is a method to do, then what we're going to do is we're going to set the value to 50. And then we're going to just set the text. And the reason why I put this if statement before the text is now once I've done this, it'll just set the text to whatever it is. So if I've changed it to where it's not 50, it's going to just change it to 50. If it is above 50, it'll just keep whatever values in there and just set that to what it needs to be. So whenever we run that, you notice now every time I go to 50, it puts it back in the middle. And if it's above 50, it represents it. So this would be a great way to kind of handle that. And then this one works just fine the way it was. So you notice on the other one I said by 30. Obviously, you can figure out how to change this if statement to match any value that you want it to be. But let's say instead of doing 0 to 100, you wanted to, like, let's say, I don't know, do 0 to like 200 or something. So the thing that you got to do with that is in your constructor is you need to set the max value. So if you come over here to honestly, I forgot what the method of that was. It is set maximum. So if you set the maximum value, and let's set it to, let's say, 200, one of the things you'll notice is that whenever I run this now, it now puts the 100 in the center because that's the halfway point. And I can go all the way up anywhere between 50 and 200 inside this because that's what I have it set at. So it's just a really nice way to kind of go ahead and change the amount that it does. And notice it really didn't change the length of it. It just honestly just it just made it to where each little increment on here is worth a little bit more. So that's kind of how that works. So it's really nice. And you can even set the minimum to 50 if you want. There's a set minimum on here. Um, uh, so I could set the minimum to like 50 if I wanted to. And now whenever I run it, notice it allows me to put it all the way down at the bottom, but it gives me a 50 right there. So that's another way to control it if you want to. So that's just how slider bars work. You can use them in your project if you want to. You don't have to. They just might make handling certain issues easier. All right, that's it for me.